Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Somebody's Heroes. I am Yuri. I am your storyteller for Hellbound, and today I am joined by Sprinkle. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sprinkle. I play Conrad, the ever so lovable demon who, had daddy issues last season. But this season, he is bigger, badder, and way more decked out in tech. He has kept up with his routines, so he is still the, buff guy that you remember, the little badass, but his horns have grown back, and he is not breaking them off this time because, well, we all saw what happened to Daddy. But instead, he has let his hair grown out, and it's actually back in a Viking braid, straight all the way back through the horns. Uh, shaved down on the sides. Looks more badass, even though he's like 50 some years old.
It has been a little while. And so we begin with Conrad. Where are you, and what are you working on right now?
So I'm going to be in his workshop, but it's not like your typical workshop. It's more like, because of like the room necessary, all the tools, the gadgets, and how inventors like to spread out. It's more like a warehouse. Um, but currently, he is working on I'd say probably 4x8 big solid desk, tools spread out everywhere, schematics, the whole 9 yards. But currently working on a repeater type mechanism. It was something that Archie, his ever so lovable self, told me that I needed to figure out for myself before. This time I have a little more incentive from him to help me do it because uh, I'm going to need every bit of tech, manpower, and spells imaginable for what I have planned.
And as you are hunched over this mechanism, Archie is indeed there with you and helping as much as Archie do. What do we see when we look at him?
It's been a while since we've seen Archie. His skin is a lot more of a faded color than it was previously as he just rises up. He's a gnome, but he rises up taller than Conrad as he just contracts the mechanical legs below him.
This is an interesting view. Well, what's that button? What's that thing?
You do realize that Conrad's like 6'7", right?
Yeah, yeah. He's now 7 foot tall when he's fully extended.
I'm gonna look up and be like, huh, I wonder if this is what Kels looks at when she's looking down at you. Anyway, what this
That's why I'm
button,
her height now.
Flips you off.
I don't even want to know what you can get into with that with her. Just no. We hear it enough. But no, that button sits there and contracts the size of the actual mechanism so it can fit in almost any type weaponry.
Oh, fine improvement from what you were originally doing. I thought it was supposed to just do your pistol. So now you're making it so it can fit into
Size weaponry.
anything. Ooh, a little more like a clip than like a barrel.
Correct.
So not revolver. Interesting. Think it's gonna work?
Hell if I know. The whole point is trial and error. Like your legs.
Have you made the receiver?
No, not yet.
These legs were great.
You're welcome. And
I
for the
think 2
record,
years ago.
don't ever fucking do that again.
I can't. I lost them once, can't lose them again.
I mean, you could lose the mechanical ones.
Yeah, but that takes a lot more work and effort. I've done some modifications, and you can see that what you guys did was just replace the bottom torso and like connect it. He's actually built it up to actually like create a full-on harness, and parts of him are becoming more metallic than they were previously. It's like, yeah, I've even got a juice box pouch, and he pulls out a bag, and he just stabs a straw in it, and it just a little bit of red liquid ends up on his face, and gotta stay sustained.
At least I can say you're not slow anymore.
I mean, you know, I always kept up with you.
No, we were grabbing you and yanking you and throwing you and pulling you along.
And I kept up. That's not my fault how you did it.
And you hear a small knock. Very polite knock. You know it's probably one of the maids.
You want to grab that?
Okay.
And he drops back down to his 3.5 foot height as his legs fan out, and he just skitters over.
Oh God, he's a
opens
skitterer.
the door, raises back up about 4.5 foot, so he's at like normal people-ish level, maybe on the shorter end. Opens the door.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, hello. And it is
Hi.
one of the maids. Both Archie and Conrad would recognize her. There is a small group of maids that are always tending to you while you are doing anything, and with Archie here being as often as he is, they've come to know him also a lot. Hi. I have a message for Master Conrad. Is
Does
he...
it have to be hand delivered, or can I take it?
No, I suppose you can tell him. Mistress Morwen is looking for him. She says it's important. Can you just let him know that it's important?
Yeah,
Please.
absolutely. Hey, Conrad! Morwen wants you!
Why do you always do that when I am messing with fine-toothed tools?
Because you didn't fix my eyes, you just fixed my legs.
I should have fixed
I
it
can't
now.
see from over there.
I'm going to let her know it was delivered. Okay, thank you. And she just
Thank you, miss.
Bye!
very
And he
shyly does a little
aggressively
bow,
waves as she's leaving.
and she walks away.
Do you not ever just cause mayhem?
I didn't cause mayhem! I answered the damn door!
I'm pretty sure she was still running for her life.
Opens the door, looks.
She's so gone. Gone.
Yeah, apparently.
She Forrest Gumped that shit. Alright, so what's going on?
Morwen wants you.
She always has a nasty knack of doing that when I'm trying to get stuff done too.
Work faster. You've had years to work on this shit. Not my fault you changed the design.
At this point, Conrad's gonna take his tail and quite literally go FWAP! And just take Archie's legs out. Just straight up. I can't bonk you on the head because you're taller than me now.
Only sometimes. I've been 3 different heights in the last 4 seconds.
Exactly. Just don't bring out the other attachments. Wait till I'm gone first. Don't call Kels. Don't do anything. Let me try one
Kels
thing.
keeps those.
That's actually a smart thing. Remind me to thank her later.
She's the only one who needs them.
I am not going to think about that right now as I take essentially a screwdriver and put it into the back of the mechanism. And essentially, you know, the growing up, the little fun accordion balls that would get real small and big.
Mhm.
That's essentially what this mechanism does when you turn it. It'll get smaller to where it could fit inside of a pistol. The factor of it'll get bigger, you know, something like a blunderbuss or something, you know, things like that. It just changes in size. And at that point, at least I know that works. You go bother Kels. I got
Okay. No sooner did you say that than he turned, opened the door, shut it behind him, and you just hear him skittering down the hallway. Probably on the ceiling. Let's be honest.
That's a scary fucking thought, a gnome spider.
That is actually terrifying, yes.
That is stuff of nightmares.
An Archie gnomish, a gnomish Archie spider.
Now, Conrad is left alone with his thoughts for a little bit. Does he answer the summons right away? What do you do?
I'll at least clean up, take 2 or 3 minutes to not have the entire place in case Morwen or any of her entourage come down to the workshop for any reason. But I'm gonna take the mechanism with me because I don't know what she needs, and it's one of those things where it's my current, not obsession, but it's my current project, and it's something that I can carry with me. So in case I need to show her, explain something to her, something along those lines, I would put it in my work belt and then end up going.
And you would know that when Morwen summons you but doesn't give you a place, it is always at her estate. That is where her personal lab is. That's where she spends most of her time. Had it been anywhere else, she would have given you the name of the place or the institute branch. And so you would know exactly how to get to her estate. You go back and forth, I think more often than you would like sometimes. And you find yourself there again, knowing that you were coming and expecting you. The door opens as soon as you even approach it. There are a couple of maids that bow their heads at you. And a man, you know him to be essentially the keeper of the grounds, who gestures down the hall, and you know the only thing over there is her study. So you head to her study and open the door, and she is there, sitting behind her desk with papers just covering every surface of it and stacked up to the point where you can't see half her body at this point. You guys have been working on a lot of things to help with the chaos of what happened in the city of Tauliva, and her being a public figure, all of the patents, all of the shipments, trying to get all of this new technology that you were both able to make with some of Archie's help to help the populace. It is a lot. And you know that she spends more time doing paperwork than actual work these last couple of days. But she looks up at you when the door opens, and seeing it is you, gives you a rare smile. You are here.
So I should either be afraid of that or I should walk away real quick.
That is honestly a very fair way to feel about it, yes.
So, what good thing happened?
I see that you are wary, which is good, but this is not only a good thing for me, it is a good thing for us. Now, come, actually, I think it is better if you see it yourself. And she will stand up and walk out of her study to where the teleportation circles are, and you know that those in her house are attuned to just about every place here in Ardamir, at least every place that matters. Have you been at all to the Ravencourt Cliffs?
Not anytime soon, no. Which, by the way, out of curiosity, as organized as you are, don't you think you should have all that paperwork better organized?
That is for someone else to take care of. Actually, and she waves down a maid, whispers something into their ear, and you see a group of 4 of them scurry back into the study. Now, you obviously do not understand yet, but you will. Come. Stand here with me. I want to be there when you see it. And she seems uncharacteristically excited.
Is there any way I could do
An insight check. Absolutely.
An insight check? Like,
Vibe check the hell out of her. Please do.
Yay. Because she given me the creepies. That was an 18 on the die.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is more than enough, especially plus any modifiers that you have. You know that she doesn't get this excited about anything. She is the most unemotional person you've ever met. People have died in front of her, and she doesn't even blink. Exactly. So, you know that the only thing that truly ignites any sort of passion in her is going to have to do with a breakthrough of some kind. Technological, magical, it could be almost anything, but she did something. And she did say that it had to do with you and that you would be excited about it. So you can tell she had a breakthrough in something big. That is the only thing that would be able to explain her behavior.
And I can only imagine what it could be because she always has 15 to 20 different things going at once.
That is true. You step into that teleportation circle and you are whisked away with her to what looks like a cavern, but it's enormous. The ceiling so high that it is just darkness, and you cannot even actually see the top of it, but you know it is rock around you. And in front of you looks like something out of a fantasy. There are machines, there are vats, there are whirling lights, there are runes carved into stones and glowing things and tubes transporting other things, and there must be 20-30 people in here, all engineers, researchers in their lab attire, shuffling around like buzzing bees, like ants in an anthill. Jesus. You know how I told you that I was working on something for your wings. Remember the last time that we looked into the different aspects of your blood? I said that if I could only isolate the part that makes you divine, if we could hold you there long enough, you might be able to regrow them yourself. And she gestures up at this device. It looks like a torture chamber. It is a seat, but there are straps all around it, and there are all sorts of tubes and metal things, and it is all encased in multiple circles of metal. And you can see that they are meant to rotate in different directions, except for the center circle, which stands still and has all of these things connected to it. And out of that, you see the lines go to the different vats of different liquids along the walls, and some that sit empty that you can only assume are meant to hold things that are not yet there. She gestures at the chair and the large console. In front of it, a slab of technological marble. It is runes carved into stone with gems, with parts of the technology you are familiar from Tauliva, and even the runes, some of which you recognize. These things are old. A lot of them are written in the celestial language, and some are in infernal. You've never seen a thing like this. But she gestures and beckons you to walk closer to it.
The safe word is red. That is a lot of straps. What do you even possibly consider doing to me?
I see it as what you will do to yourself. You see, if we can put you in that exalted state of being for long enough, with all of the tests we've been running using your blood, I believe you'll be able to regrow your wings back, but only if we can hold you there long enough. And now the first question obviously was how to get you there, and she gestures to the vats on one side. But from what you have told me of your experience and the times that you have experienced that state and putting some animals through some trials, I think I can do it. And once we get you there, well, you're only really there when it is a matter of life and death, seeing as you can't fully control it yet, and your body and your mind will think that you are in danger. These are precautions for safety. Of course, we do not want you to injure yourself or the mechanism or any of these people here. And once you are there, we must not only keep you there, but take the excess of this energy and the things that you do not need. And she gestures to the empty vats. It must be a careful equilibrium. So we can hold you there long enough. And all you must do is think of the scars in your back and those wings, and they will come. Now, isn't that a technological marvel?
It is. And the level of being able to isolate the different items required for regrowth and regenerative properties. Because when I transform, the blood itself takes on the shape and duties of my old wings. So to be able to isolate something on that level is...
And to be honest, you will be doing most of the heavy lifting once you are in that state. Like I said, you have to think about them and want them to be there. It is a willing of your power to do what you want it to do, and I cannot aid in that, unfortunately.
You already did give aid by building the machine. If the rest is up to me, then the answer is simple. When do we start?
We can do so now, if you wish. I did hope you would be open to it, seeing just how long it took us to get to this point.
Seeing it's been years since Taliva, we've gotten Archie up and running. We've gotten technology back out into the world to help stop the decline that happened when Taliva stopped working.
We have saved countless lives, yes, but I know you only really care about one in particular, and I believe this will be you taking a first real step towards that.
Then I've waited long enough.
Well, then let's begin. She gestures out, and the frenzy of people turns into a panic, as you know that most of them were expecting this to be a showing and not a doing, at least not yet, because they just finished it. But they cannot say no, and they know that. And they are worked up into a frenzy, trying to get everything in place, refill the vats and clean the ones that are empty, and make sure that it is all clean, it is all ready, and that nothing could possibly go wrong. And after a minute or two, once the buzz has died down a little bit, they retreat, except for two women you've met. They are twins, elven twins, who work at the Health Institute. And they are on either sides of this chair, and they beckon you forward to sit.
At that point, I'm assuming I have to take off whatever shirt or attire it's going to be regular working in the shop type clothing. However, he's used to his armor, but seeing as he hasn't really had need of that, you're going to see him take off. He'll slide down straps of suspenders to be able that usually help keep up all of the tool belts that he usually has on him, about 2 or 3 at a time. But you see the man that originally started way years back with Archie with a generator start to unbutton and disrobe, and the light catches the 2 scarring patterns, reminders of his father's almost skeletal hands that he left when he took his wings, when he was going to pass judgment on me as a traitor. And he looks a little bit different in that his skin is a little deeper crimson from the original, closer to fuchsia color. And he walks forward after disrobing at least the top half and sits where the 2 elven twins beckon.
And with very gentle hands, they strap you down. This has metal that goes up to the bottom of your spine and curves outward in a circle with the center hollowed out, and comes to meet again behind your head to support it. There's straps around your forehead to keep your head secure, and your arms are pulled apart and strapped down to either sides of that O. Your legs down to the chair. And they begin attaching tubes to you now that you cannot move. One of them whispers, "It'll just feel like a prick. Try to be still." As these needles come in, that is what they do. They are good at their job, and you almost don't feel it. Your heart is beating so fast in anticipation. These tubes begin to be attached to you. After a couple of excruciating minutes, they step away from you, back towards the console, and nod at Morwen. All right, if you are ready, we will begin now. I do believe this will be quite painful, since anything to reduce pain would interfere with the other liquids and might not let you stay in that exalted state. So we will have to do without. But I am sure you have been through many worse things in your life.
Absolutely.
She nods at you.
Nothing compares to gaining everything over a few short months after a lifetime of misery and control. No, progress is never easy. But if this gives me the chance of increasing even metrically the amount of variables to bring her back.
I think sometimes you underestimate how alike we are, Conrad. She turns to the engineer beside her. Begin. And at first, you wait for something to happen and nothing does. And you don't see it because your head is strapped down, but you feel it as soon as the liquids have gone through the tubes and hit your veins. Some of them burn and some of them are ice cold, fast, and the other too thick. And it is a searing in your body as you almost don't notice the outer circles of metal. The outer rings begin to turn and whirl. And you can see at first Morwen and the engineer in front of the console. But after a little bit, as those rings turn faster, it becomes blurry. And after that, you don't know if it is just the rings or if it is actually your eyesight going. And the burning and the cold intensify until it becomes a searing pain. Now, not just where the needles enter your skin, but all throughout your body as the liquids mix. And you recognize the feeling of adrenaline and think that must be one of the things being pumped into me, because my heart was already beating hard, but never like this. It feels like it's going to jump out of your chest, and it begins to ache and burn like the rest of you. And in that pain, your vision almost goes black. It gets spotty, and you feel like you might pass out, but you don't. And in that holding on, after a few excruciating seconds, you see a color, and the rest of them, standing there and looking at you, see you begin to glow. And Morwen once again smiles at herself. It is working, at least this first part. She can see it is working. And now the rest is up to you. The rest of the engineers, some leave, their parts being done. The other half stays, and Morwen just stands there looking at you the entire time. It feels like she doesn't blink. And for you, there in this machine, the pain just got worse and worse to the point where you don't know if you were even capable of feeling more pain than this. So tell us, what are Conrad's initial thoughts here?
My thoughts would go to the factor of remembering the pain of having my wings initially magically ripped from my being by Orcus. The tearing, the stretching, the pulling. And I thought that that was the worst it could feel. But then came the touch when he put his hands directly on the wounds, forcing his magic against my body to create the scars that I have now, but also trying to subdue me so I was more compliant. Because I was the one who was supposed to take up the mantle. And all he could sit there and see was a disappointment and a traitor. So take the feeling of his magic, but every ounce of his anger and disappointment, all of that searing into my flesh all those years ago is where my brain would probably go, just starting to give me something to imagine or measure this new sensation by.
And it is fitting, because at the very beginning, that is exactly what it feels like. But instead of your wings being ripped from your body, it is these new bones breaking through the old scars from the inside out, and those wounds ripping open anew. And your back has begun to bleed, and it drips down onto this white floor, staining it red and forming a puddle that just grows and grows underneath you. And the machine whirls faster, but you don't notice that. All you feel is the pain. And your vision is no longer spotty. You got a hold of yourself, but it is still blurry. And moments pass, and nothing changes. You didn't ask her how long this would take. And you hold on as much as you can, for it suddenly somehow gets worse, and now your head is splitting in half. You must do anything you can to stay conscious. What else runs through Conrad's mind?
My mind would transition, feeling a new depth of pain, to the long hours spent working alongside Archie and Kels after I was saved from Orcus, to the factor of rebuilding everything, regrowing a life, rebuilding from ashes. I had to start anew. I had to conceal my identity. I had to deal with the loss of not being able to travel alongside her. And the thing that got me through those first 6 years after it all happened was waiting for word of where she was. And all of the times that I had to use the depths of my brain to conceive new schematics for prosthetics and prosthesis for the army, and none of them defended me. These thoughts and having to start over while making new friends who turned into family quicker than I ever anticipated, because I never thought I would trust again. My brain goes to the long hours spent in Archie's workshop and Kels teaching me the ways of the bounty hunter to make a living instead of just killing and taking over territories and seeing people just die needlessly. I had a purpose driving me forward while waiting for the word of where she was.
And we see from the outside the vats with liquid half gone, but you don't know that. And on the other side of the wall, they're slowly filling to keep you in balance as long as you need. We see the pool of blood under your feet get larger and larger, and from the back, those protruding like a small plant breaking from the soil and growing. And if this machine and the whirling didn't make sound, we would all be able to hear the cracking and snapping of sinew and cartilage and bone as it goes back and re-knits, going from little lumps to stretch out behind you. And we see them coated in blood, and from that blood form skin, papery and thin at first. But as you let those thoughts keep you grounded and keep you here and knowing what you need to do and directing that magic inside you, they go from paper and translucent to what they're meant to be. Still bloody and not complete. Not yet. And the pain doesn't get worse, but it doesn't ebb away either. You didn't think you'd be able to hold on for this long. You think you would have passed out already, and you can't tell if it's been minutes or hours. But we know that Morwen has been standing here staring at you for almost 7 hours now. And you don't see, but we do, as one of the nurses taps her on the shoulder. Lady Morwen, his vitals, they don't look right. I don't know how much longer he can do this without incurring some sort of other permanent damage. And Morwen, without taking her eyes off of you, and seeing you twisted and pain with your eyes now shut, you don't even know when you closed them, is quiet for a second before muttering back to the nurse under her breath. Leave him. He can do it. He will be fine. and the nurse wanting to say more, but not daring to, just gives a small nod and walks away, and the two twins stare at you with worry and with horror. The rest of them, most have had to leave. There is one passed out on the ground somewhere that had to be dragged out, that couldn't bear the constant screams of agony coming from you. And then 7 hours turn to 9, and those vats look almost empty, but your wings look almost done. Nobody dares ask Morwen to make you stop again. And she stares at you. Please tell us what it is now that you think about as you begin to hear the rolling of the machine slow down.
Not being able to truly tell if it's the machine or my heart. But the one thing that I do hear above all else is a sweet voice that not only sounds like the morning rain, but also as strong as the winds in a hurricane. The first time I ever heard Vexia's voice, her sitting behind those bars in camp after a raid. We had found a bunker of tiefling nobles. She was the last one left. After trades and bartering and all the war mechanizations, she saw me working on a prosthesis for one of my men, and she couldn't figure out why the leader of this encampment would dirty his hands with the grunts. Truth be told, it caught me off guard. But I don't know what caused me to explain myself to her that day. But I looked at her, and the shimmering aquamarine eyes looking back at me. If anything, stole the soul out of me that day. But I told her I couldn't sit there and live with my men suffering for the cruelty of a monster's orders. A monster I had the misfortune to call father. And my mind transitions from that first talk to the timeline of more talks. Simple, but most in-depth that I had ever talked to anyone. I didn't have to be cold and calculating and tactical. All I had to do was exist. And as the time went on, Vexia captivated not only the growth of my heart, but the growth of my mind. And she became the sole purpose for me hammering in the forge, for me twisting all of the nuts and bolts in my projects. She engulfed everything that was me. She taught me the crafts of runes. How elegant and mystical and powerful they were. I mean, what would I know about any sort of majestic creations like those? I'm just some failed attempt at a son and heir for a monster. But she saw me as nothing more than a soul who wanted to create rather than destroy. And my mind goes right up until the day I had to send her away to keep her safe. And then how good it felt to finally rid this realm of Orcus. And now the exasperation I feel, knowing where she's been, and the fight that lasts till I get there.
And these thoughts sustain you until the machine keeps slowing down, little by little by little. And the liquids stop to flow into your body, but it is still too long before the feeling of them inside you begins to ebb, and the pain begins to subside, little by little. And you realize that you were screaming this entire time, and your throat is hoarse and dry, and you realize that at some point you closed your eyes and the whirling sounds quiet, as so does your voice. You stop, and it finally stops. And then there is nothing but silence for a couple of moments, till Morwen turns to the twins, who were so transfixed at what was going on and so worried for you that they forgot they had a job to do. And she looks at them, and they flinch and run forward to take the needles out of your body. And you don't even feel that. You were so consumed in pain for so long that those needles exiting you feel like nothing. And you feel them tug the straps off of you, the worried looks in their faces. Your vitals are returning to normal, but they don't trust that. And the straps come off, and then it is just you on that chair. And she has not said anything yet. She is still just looking at you, as if waiting.
As my mind slowly, painstakingly so, starts to come down off of the adrenaline, and so hyper-focused on the memories to keep me going. Once I feel my body not go limp, but go lax from the straps, and I regain some sense of mobility. I would fall forward trying to move onto my hands and knees in front of the chair.
And you feel the slickness. You are in a pool of your own blood.
I look down at it, and it looks almost comical. For as much blood as I've seen over the years, but even funnier yet, that blood is the one thing that caused me to transform and gain the power necessary to be able to fight, find, and now finally bring her back.
And on your hands and knees, and still lost in your own thoughts, it takes you a second to realize that Morwen has walked forward to stand in front of you. Can you stand?
I don't know, but I'll try. As I attempt to do one foot underneath and then the next foot forward, shaking almost uncontrollably because my center of balance and nerve endings are shot all to hell from the long hours.
How do you feel?
like I just got shot through every layer of hell and back.
It looks like it worked. And I do believe that with this, you will be as ready as you can get.
At her saying that, my eyes slowly but surely regain clarity, and I realize that she's not wrong. I feel heavier along my backside, a feeling that I had thought lost decades ago. And I stand to my full height and roll my shoulders to the feeling of wings that I thought forever gone. And my eyes widen even more when the sensation floods back like muscle memory. And I say, there's only one way to find out if it worked.
She says nothing, but nods at you.
How far away is the mouth to the cave?
As you look around, you can see off in one corner the circle that you came in through. But she gestures to the opposite side, and at first it looks like just a wall. But it is actually a turn in the cavern, a small tunnel that you're assuming she means will lead you outside. Probably no more than 20 feet in length after you exit the large chamber.
Slowly but steadily, I put one foot in front of the other, almost like being drunk, trying to steady the legs and almost get used to my body all over again. And before I know it, I've gone the 20, 30, 40 feet around the bend and exit to whatever small or large exit there is.
You see the light first. The little winding cavern gets brighter. It almost hurts your eyes. And it's a small mouth, looking like a normal, natural cavern from the outside in, you are sure. But you can see just sky in front of you. And on the small lip at the entrance to this cavern, you see a sheer rock, flat cliff wall all the way down to the ocean.
I don't think about anything. except one picture that floods my mind. And it was Vexia's face when I had to say goodbye to her. And I smirk. And I just take off running. In a dead, hauling ass sprint. Like I was chasing after the carriage. Because if this didn't work, then I'm not ready to save her yet. And as soon as I get to the ledge, every ounce of force that I have, every muscle fiber clenches. And I just long jump out across the air into a dive. And at first, with the wind whipping across my face, it's unusual and foreign feeling. But only a few seconds go by as the ocean's rushing towards my face. And just as I feel like the wings aren't going to open, that I just endured hours upon hours of pain, and I get that sinking feeling of uselessness again. Vexia's face reappears in my mind, and just as I'm about to hit the rocks in the water, those wings spread as far as they can reach.